So here's a couple tight end rankings. We'll roll through them. It's tight ends, right? Here's my top 10: Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts. I got Dalton Schultz a little bit higher than most people. I'm not totally saying that Kittle and Waller will bust, but you're adding Devontae Adams there and Josh McDaniels and the way he's run his offense. We've talked about it a couple times on this show. Maybe we see fewer targets from Waller. I think he's fantastic. I really do. But you got Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow in there as well. Dallas Goedert, I've kind of come around on a little bit. It is a crowded wide receiver core now officially in Philly with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in there and a bit of a run-first team. But I think Goddard will find some open seams in the middle of the field. I'm very intrigued with him lately. T.J. Hawkinson, Dawson Knox in there, and then Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz going to get a lot of work in the first few weeks of the season with no DeAndre Hopkins, and he was good when he was acquired by Arizona from the Philadelphia Eagles. He showed up and he had some really nice moments there. Kittle and Waller, if I'm thinking that there's going to be a bust inside the top 4 or 5, it would be those two guys. You got basically a rookie quarterback in Trey Lance, who's only had 2 starts in the NFL, and who knows who his guy is going to be. And he likes to call his own number and run, and they want to run the football. And then you got Ayuk there, who's had the connection with Trey Lance in camp in each of the past couple seasons. And then Deebo Samuel, the offense runs through him, and Kittle blocks a little bit more than I'd like. I think he's terrific. I think he's fantastic. I just don't love his price. Same with Waller. And Dalton Schultz, I'd just rather wait it out until round 6 and get him. But Andrews finished his tight end 1 last year. Drafting Kelce in the first round, I don't think is a thing you need to do anymore, because before he was elite and the gap between tight end 1 and 2 was significant. It's not anymore. Andrews was tight end 1. We just talked about with Chelsea. He was fantastic last year. And then here's 11 to 20 as we wrap up this segment. Cole Kmet, talked a lot about him already. One of 2 players in the NFL last year with 60 grabs and no touchdowns. Chicago did nothing to help out Justin Fields. It's going to be the Kmet show and Darnell Mooney, and they're going to run the rock a lot. But he was inside the top 12 in targets and receptions and catches. He just didn't have the touchdowns. If you give him 4 or 5 touchdowns, he's finishing as a top 12 tight end. Pat Freiermuth, Albert O in there, who's a big mismatch, and Noah Fant is no longer around. So I think he could be a big red zone target for Russell Wilson now that Tim Patrick, who led the Broncos in end zone targets, are no longer around. Robert Tonyan I've ranked higher than most people, I think. Last year was a bit of a write-off for him. He suffered an injury. And 2 years ago, he was fantastic, was very efficient. I didn't think that he was going to be able to back that up again in this for a second year, but there's a lot of question marks. There's reports Green Bay is that Rodgers is freaking out with all his young wide receivers. So Robert Tonyan, I think, is a pretty good value. Could have the trust of Rodgers, especially inside the red zone. We're just looking at this point of the rankings to have tight ends that could, find the end zone and beat targets inside the red zone in their offenses. And I think that's the key. I think I got to move up Irv Smith. Thumb injury is concerning for me. He should be ready to go week 1. Gesicki's some reports he's going to block, and it's not going to be a pass-heavy offense. And it's hard to really get excited about Gesicki with Tua and Waddle there on the squad. I think Njoku could break out. Everett's a nice little play at the end, and I love Brevin Jordan. We do have to break. Okay. Does Brissett check down a lot at all with Watson at 11 games? Could see Njoku being up there possibility. Yeah. No matter who the quarterback play was going to be, I really liked Njoku as a guy, like 20% target share. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense, and he may fall down draft boards now with Brissett. So 2 tight end leagues probably, and maybe just a DFS play.